Hello, guys. Today, John Davis True Crime is going to take you to the great state of Missouri. In Missouri, we have a missing lady. She's 47-year-old Echo Loyd. Now, Echo is 5'4", weighs between 100 and 110 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. She has multiple tattoos. She has birds on her forearm. She has her kids' names on her wrist, which are Kylie, Caitlin, Casey, and Kelsey. She has a butterfly on the right side of her chest, and she has a rose on her ankle. So that is a brief description of Miss Echo Loyd, and we will have her picture in the thumbnail. And this all starts on Mother's Day 2020, when Echo's daughter, Kelsey, comes over to drop off some presents for her mom on Mother's Day. She brings her some flowers and a card. Echo does not appear to be home. There's no car in the drive and no answer when Kelsey knocks at the door. Now, Kelsey decides she's going to leave her mom's card and her flowers on the back porch, and she'll get a hold of her later. Days pass. Can't get in touch with her mom, not returning calls, not answering calls, nothing. At this point, Kelsey decides she's going to go to her mom's house and check things out, see what's going on. She gets to her mom's house. Now her mom's car is in the driveway. However, still fails to answer the door or show any signs of life inside the house. Kelsey's, by this point, it's been days, and she's worried about her mother, so she gains entry into the house. Now, when she gets into the house, there's a couple things that immediately stick out to her. There's apparently a pile of trash and some moldy food around. And Kelsey knows her mother would not leave her house like that, and she determines this to be highly suspicious. Now, she even goes as far as to say her mother was almost to the point of OCD about the order of her house, so definitely there's a problem. After she looks around her mom's house, kind of takes an inventory on things, she realizes, most everything of her mother's is there. Her mother smoked and her cigarettes were there. But she does determine there are some things missing. Her mother's cell phone, her mother's keys, and her mother's gun. That's right. Echo carried a pistol. She had had an assault some 9 years before, and after that, she had decided she didn't want to be nobody's victim, so she was going to defend herself. She started carrying a gun. I suggest, most women in your state, if it allows for that, I suggest you do it. Can't be too safe. All right, so like I said, she goes to the house. She knows there's some things she don't like. She contacts the police. After some time, they determine that nobody has seen Echo since Mother's Day. And the sighting on Mother's Day was by some employees at the local Dollar General. Now, these employees, they see Echo, and they say that apparently there was a group of people with her or waiting on her, but they associate a group of people to being in her company. It's very interesting. Nobody seems to know exactly who these people would be, and that's kind of been a dead end so far on who those are. As this is being taped, they've never discovered who those people were. The sheriff did make a statement. He said he believes somebody knows where Echo is, and it's more than one person that knows. So that makes you think the sheriff was referring to these people that were seen with her at the Dollar General. Now, there's actually a receipt found inside the house that dates back to Mother's Day from Walmart. So there's a good chance that when Kelsey had went to her mother's house, her mother was at Walmart at the time. Now, they don't, as far as I've seen, there's no surveillance footage from Walmart or anything like that. But for that receipt to be dated on that date, it makes her think it was from her mom. When it comes to clues, there's not a lot. There's a lot of mixed reports on different little things. Some, it was said that her car keys were missing in the beginning. Later on, it's found out the neighbor had the car keys. We'll talk about the neighbor in just a second because he's suspicious. It said that and there's reports saying that her phone was actually found inside the house. I can't confirm or deny. And it said that the gun was actually found outside in the yard. Now, it depends on what you watch, what you read. So we're not sure exactly about those two things, whether they were found or not. It's really not clear. And, Kelsey has done a lot to find her mother, so it's really good to see, how much she cares about her mom and wants her found, because her mom has now a grandson. At the time she went missing, he was a month old, and, everybody says, it seems to be the opinion of everybody involved, that she would not just up and leave without, and not be in contact with her kids or her grandkids. So it's really suspicious. Also, it's of note that Echo was on medication for some kind of heart issue, and it was medication that she would need. She couldn't go a long time without it, or she surely shouldn't be going a long time without it. There were prescriptions at the pharmacy waiting to be picked up. Those have never been picked up. So that's a really big issue in this case. Now, when it comes to persons of interest, I didn't see where they were actually named, but most of the things seem to point at the neighbor. And this is who eventually was found to have had her car keys. And after you hear Kelsey talk a little bit about this neighbor, it seems like he is probably number one suspect in Echo's disappearance. A few of the things that, Kelsey mentioned about the neighbor is this guy would just show up. One of those, you're sitting there, all of a sudden, bang, 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 there he is on your door. But you'll find, as time went on, he didn't even knock anymore. He would just walk into her house totally unannounced. He would just hang around, she said. He wouldn't leave. He couldn't take a hint. You'd be like, about time for bed. This guy didn't get it. He'd stay right there. And eventually, from what, we learned from Kelsey's interview, is this guy just took it way too far. He was basically stalking her in a not so indirect way. He was staying at the house, staying overnight. Now, Kelsey says the relationship was strictly platonic, that her mother had no romantic interest in this guy, but, with mental illness, which I'm not saying he has it, but to do the kind of odd things this guy has done, it makes you think he had definitely a different idea of their relationship than Echo did. Like I said, he would just show up, he would leave, or wouldn't leave, he'd just keep hanging around. He'd come in without knocking. She described it as he basically took over the house, the car, and the money. It came to a point right before her disappearance where she had told Kelsey that she felt like she just had to go home and reclaim her house. And unfortunately, that was about the last conversation Kelsey had with her mother about this. So it really seems like there's a good possibility the neighbor has something to do with her disappearance. Now, he hasn't been named as a person of interest. Nobody has, so, take it for what it's worth. A couple things. There is a Facebook page. It's Bring Echo Home. It's, dedicated to, her disappearance and help finding her and all that stuff. There's a website, bringechohome.com. There is a $7,000 reward for information leading to her recovery. And there's also a GoFundMe set up in efforts to help with searches and flyers. And, I would assume maybe if they could raise enough money, it would probably get to a private detective, things like that. If you have information, you need to contact the Benton County Sheriff's Office. This is in Missouri, or the Missouri State Police. Also, now, this wasn't clear, but it seems like Texas EquuSearch is possibly trying to get involved. I know there's a flyer for Echo that they had put out. So that's basically everything we have on Echo. Let's everybody say a prayer. Hope she's brought home safely. And that is Echo Loyd's missing story. If you like this story, subscribe to my channel. Give it a thumbs up. Have a good day.